You're going to pay me to help you lose body mass for a brief period of time in an unhealthy way just to gain it all back, and then you'll pay me to do it again.
I'm going to break down something your trainer or coach will never tell you. Most trainers don't know this. So here's 7 things that must happen if you want to be successful on your weight loss journey. Here's what I've learned in 23 years of being a personal trainer and a nutrition coach. If you're trying to lose weight, the truth is 10% of the equation is called working out.
Gyms, they're the only way you can get fit, aside from all the other ways. And while you could improve your health with a t-shirt, shorts, and determination, part of you thinks you can buy fitness.
People would come into our gym and burn 800, 1,000 calories, come in 7 days a week, and yet they weren't able to necessarily achieve their goals, their weight goals. Right? They were doing high intensity training, progressive overload, CrossFit, Tabata, only to make things worse. Even biking, running, swimming, aerobics actually exacerbated the problem even more. The main reason is that high intensity training burns a ton of calories. Calories out, calories in. Untrained hunger cues and a huge caloric output are a disastrous combination. In other words, if you're training hard, you're gonna be hungrier. And so you ask, what's the solution? Weight loss requires a multidisciplinary approach of mind, body, and spirit. I just want you to understand that there's so much more to weight loss than calories in and calories out. Most of these fad diets are not sustainable. Macro counting, calories, points, keto, Whole30, they're what we call sprint strategies. I know this all sounds very depressing. You're probably saying, well, JT, what are you telling me here? There's no solution? Belief systems ultimately guide our actions, and our actions guide our habits. If you're trying to lose weight, then it's important that you watch this video all the way to the end. Most trainers don't know these secrets. It's all about a multidisciplinary approach of mind, body, and spirit. Let's talk about mind, right? What do you mean, JT, by mind? This is your processing system, right? And the way we process things impacts our emotions impact our habits. And so it is said that counseling, right? Counseling has a greater success when it comes to weight loss than any other approach. And so we combine counseling with the actual mechanics, which makes it very, very powerful. Your body, understanding physical hunger versus emotional hunger is everything. Understanding that you're not just dealing with a big appetite, but actually you're dealing with an addiction to food, and being able to deal systematically with that addiction so that you can put these things that are making you addicted into abstinence is pivotal. The spiritual aspect, we believe that the heart is a factory of idols. We're constantly seeking dopamine hits everywhere we go. People find these dopamine hits in alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, more importantly for this video, food, right? Food is the most accessible one. It is what we call the innocent drug, and it gets people in trouble all the time. Most trainers don't know this. So here's 7 things that must happen if you want to be successful on your weight loss journey. Number 1, we must reset our palate. What does that mean? Changing your affections.
But you're telling me there's a chance
for certain foods that may be getting you in trouble right now. You say, that's impossible. I've liked the same foods forever. You're telling me that I'm gonna be able to change this? Yes, we see this happen in 6 to 8 weeks. We do that in many different ways, but there's a very systematic way that we bring into the equation, and it deals with the same approach that you have to any kind of addiction, whether it's cigarettes, alcohol, or food, right? We have to go into abstinence in order to self-regulate and for you to take control and be able to make better decisions. But that takes about 6 to 8 weeks and lots of reinforcement, lots of hyper accountability. Number 2, we must reset our brain's pathways. What that means is that we have been wired, we've anchored, right, that specific foods are rewarding, right? We do something great at work, or we feel like we're tired and we deserve something, and automatically we go to food. And so in 6 to 8 weeks, what we actually do is we rewire those neurons so that you're no longer thinking of food as a reward. Now, that's always gonna come up, but we create some buffer systems so that when that thought comes in, you know exactly what to do. So, making sure that you are resetting your brain's reward pathways is huge in this process. Number 3, you must seek hyper accountability. It can be a paid coach, or it can just be a third unbiased party that holds you accountable to your commitments. But that, I can tell you right now that that's one of the best things we do. We practice hyper accountability where we're touching base with people 4 days a week. They have access to us 6 days a week. And so lots of touch points to make people, to make sure that people are staying motivated, to make sure that people are actually following through on their commitments, right? So this is super important. Number 4, you must change your environment. If you are addicted to certain foods and you're hanging around certain people, you're going to certain places where you're being triggered and tempted, it's gonna be impossible for you to get over this thing. So it's super, super important you watch your environment and you watch the people that you're hanging out with until you gain some momentum, you gain the ability to self-regulate. And then you can go back into these spaces and they won't affect you as much. I don't recommend being there at all, but if you have to live with certain people or you have to go to the workplace and you're surrounded by people that trigger and tempt you, after 6 to 8 weeks, you're gonna have a better control on those things. Number 5, you must find the program that is realistic, that is sustainable, and that provides quick wins. Your first couple of weeks on any weight loss journey, these first 2 to 3 weeks are pivotal to your long-term success. The more time that goes by without quick wins, the harder it's going to be for you to maintain the motivation necessary to complete the journey. Motivation is the fuel that keeps people taking action over and over again. Without daily actions towards your goal, people just easily fall back into their old ways because this reminds them of their previous limitations and it reinforces limiting beliefs. Belief systems ultimately guide our actions and our actions guide our habits. Reinforcing your belief systems in the beginning of the journey fans that flame called inspiration, which ultimately will provide you with the necessary forward motion to succeed. Remember, first 2 to 3 weeks are super important. If you're not gaining that momentum and that motivation, it's very easy to fall off. So we must find that realistic, sustainable program that's gonna provide those quick wins early on. Number 6, you must find a strong why, right? The what is not as important as the why is, right? So the why is everything. This speaks more about the intrinsic reason on why you want to lose weight. If it's just about aesthetics, that's valid, but it's only going to take you so far. You really need to find something that'll push you through. Maybe it's leaving a legacy for your family. Maybe it's being an example to someone else. Maybe, hopefully not, but you had a unfortunate doctor's report and it scared you. So now you're motivated, right? You have that fear in you that says, I gotta make some changes, and that becomes a very, very strong why that allows you to push through on difficult, challenging days. Number 7, and the last one that I left here, and I left this last intentionally, is ultimately your heart must change around these things until you have a heart conviction. Maybe you align it to one of your spiritual convictions, or you align it to one of your pillars in life, or you align it to what you believe to be true about life and how you should show up until it really is something that brings conviction to your heart. These changes will not last. And so you see why I say that your trainer will not talk to you about these things. And the reason I know this is because for 23 years I was frustrated, right, in the front lines, working with people, hearing all of the data, the complaints about what was happening. We gathered everything and we put a systematic, bulletproof program that works well, very well, every single time. So if you don't work with me, please, please, please go back, watch this video, take some notes, and jot down the most important things necessary for weight loss and find that solution for yourself. But until you have this multidisciplinary approach, my friend, I unfortunately have to say that it will not be sustainable. Training is not enough, nutrition is not enough. You need to combine all 3 of these aspects, your mind, your body, and your spirit. And when you're doing that, you're firing off on all engines, and you will find this to be very sustainable, very fulfilling, and you're gonna be able to impact many people in a very positive way.